If you want to start on Turo but don't know what car to get, I'll save you weeks of research in just 5 minutes. So I'm going to break this video down into 3 sections. First, I'm going to answer some of the most common questions that people in my community ask me. Then I'm going to give you some prominent things that you must know before picking a car. And lastly, I'm going to give you guys some great hints that no one really tells you. If you're new to my videos, I don't really care for an intro. I like to just get right to the point. So let's start talking about it. What type of cars should you get for Turo? That's the first question. Well, what type of cars are there? In my eyes, I see it a few ways. There's cash cars, there's used cars, and there's new cars. If you're watching this video, I'm going to simplify for you. You're going to be looking at used cars. Now, used cars are anything that you can get a nice, easy note on from about $300 to $400 a month, and they're usually going to range from $16,000 to $24,000. A new car is going to be something that you're getting fresh off the lot. It has 0 miles, and it's brand spanking new. But here's the downside with new cars, that depreciation. You don't realize if you make money on Turo until it comes time to sell the car. If you sell that car, that new car that you bought for $40,000 and then you only sell it for $25,000, then you lost $15,000 right there at that sale from depreciation. And that is an expense that eats completely out of your Turo profit. So it's important to get a good deal on a car, and you're usually not going to get a good deal on a new car because you're paying that upfront premium price and they're going to depreciate regardless when they come straight off the lot. Now, the other option I said is a used car and a cash car. Now, your cash cars are usually your cheap economy cars, your Toyota Corollas with, 90,000 miles on them. They're usually from 2012 to 2017. They're very old. They've been beaten, and they call them cash cars because you can usually buy them for under $9,000. The money you have sitting in your bank account, and maybe you don't have that amount of money, but we refer to them as cash cars regardless. Now, cash cars are a great option from starting on Turo, but a little later in this video, I'm going to tell you why they could be dangerous too if you're a new host. So what I recommend everyone goes for is used cars. Right now, I'm at a used car dealership. It's called Certified Auto Brokers on Grand Island, and they have everything from Infinitis to Chryslers to Nissans to Chevy Equinoxes and BMWs. Now, I did want to get out of the car and show you and walk around today, but it is raining and I don't want to get my microphone wet. So with that being said, you want to go with a used car because you can easily afford the note of $300 a month if you put the car on Turo. You're going to make way more than that. Also, they're not going to depreciate as much as a new car. And on Turo, they're still going to do very good ranking because Turo likes to promote nice economy cars because that's their biggest user. People who want economy cars, they're trying to get around, Hertz and budget are too expensive, so they come to Turo. So Turo is still going to promote you high on the rankings when you list your car on the app. That means when someone searches, you're not going to be 770 cars deep. You're going to be right on top in your area, because you have a nice new car. It's like a 2019, it has 40,000 miles, it's reliable. So that's the type of car you should get, a used car that you can get a note from $300 to $400 on. Where do you look for these cars? There's so many dealerships, you don't know who to trust. Well, there's a few places you could look. The first one is Facebook Marketplace. Now, this is a win or sometimes not a win. It works sometimes because you can get a great deal. A lot of times people are trying to sell their cars so they can maximize profit because they know when they trade it in at a dealership, they're going to offer them pennies for it. So they try to sell it on their own. The thing is, a lot of times people like to hide stuff on Facebook. The engine could have blown and they could have turned off the light. Something could be wrong that they're not telling you about and they're just trying to get the cash and never talk to you again. Now, the same could be true and said about dealerships, but a lot of times if you get a well-trusted dealership who has a reputation, they're not going to screw you over. Personally, right now, I'm at Certified Auto Brokers in Grand Island, and every car that they sell is certified here, meaning when it goes off their lot, they offer a 3-month warranty with 3,000 miles. And no, that's not a big warranty, but it's basically saying that they're going to make sure that that car works for you a little bit on from the time you buy it. Most likely anything that will break would break within 3 months, so they're not screwing you over. So if you search certified dealerships in your area, that is the best place to look. Get a certified pre-owned car. Now, big dealerships, sometimes like your Toyotas and your Hondas, they're going to be scammy dealers. They're working off commission. They want the most out of you. Certified Auto Brokers in Grand Island, New York, they're not commission-based dealers, which means they all get $150 regardless of what car they sell. So they're not trying to nickel and dime you, and they're usually not pushy. Try to find a dealer that is not pushy, and if they are pushy, just walk out. Don't be in a rush to get a car because you'll end up getting a bad deal. Now, there's 3 ways to buy cars. You can lease it, you can finance it, or you can pay cash. Now, if you have cash, you can do that and have no note. I personally would not want to risk putting that much money out of my bank account because if that car gets totaled or something happens, that's a lot of money. You're depending on the insurance to reimburse you, and it's just kind of risky. You don't need to take $20,000 out of your bank account to buy a car because you could just go finance cars for $300 a month, and if it doesn't work, you could just sell the car and not be out all that money guaranteed. So the other option is leasing a car. Leasing a car is good because you can get a new car very cheap sometimes, but the thing with leasing, people People on Turo are going to be driving your cars a lot of miles, and with leasing, you're sometimes stranded to mileage limits. At the start, you might only get 10,000 miles a year, and you can negotiate that to get 12,000 to 15,000 miles per year, but it costs you more money per month, and 100% of the time, your guests are going to go over that. I mean, 1 month, sometimes my guests put on 4,000 miles on my car, and it sounds like that sucks, but I can charge for every mileage over 200 miles per day. I can charge for that, so I'm not too worried about miles. So that's what leads me to getting finance cars. Finance cars are the banks until you pay off the note. They hold the title, they're the lien holder, but you can put as much miles on that car as you want. So that's why you should stick with financed cars. Now, if you can get a good cash car under $10,000, that's good. That's an option too, starting out. There's no note and it's not too much money, but $20,000, that's a lot of cash to take out of your bank account. And a lot of people ask me that, but I don't recommend it. Now, as far as negotiating your monthly rate, this is very, very important. And I need you guys to play with the numbers. As far as loan terms, the amount of months that you want to be paying that car off, is it 72? Is it 60? Is it 59? Is it 42? There's benefits to all of it. A higher loan term, you're gonna have a way lower monthly payment, but pay way more interest in the end. A lower month loan term, like 60 months, you're building equity way quicker in the car, you're paying less interest, but it's a lot more money that is gonna be going to that car up front, which gets taken from you. Now, you gotta find what you're comfortable with. So I have a calculator that I built and I use for every single car that I purchase. It's in the link below in the Skool community, totally free to use. When you log in there, you can download it. It's inside of the course, which is totally free to you, no charge. You just make an account, go in there, and one of the videos has a calculator that you can download, open up in Google Sheets, and you can play with all the numbers and get that perfect monthly payment. Because you don't want to be paying $600 a month if you can make it $400 a month. Now, you also want to get a car that looks good on photos, and I talk a lot about that in that free course below, but photos are so important on Turo because they will make or break people listing your car. Too many times people take the most ghetto photos of cars and they do so bad. They wonder why they don't get booked. You have to take good photos, and I show you completely how, again, in that course below, completely free to you, no charge. It's in the community. Sign in and make an account, and we could talk you through that. Now, those are some of the basic questions that people always ask me, but now here are some things you must know when you're looking for a car. The requirements to be on Turo is it cannot be a rebuilt car. The car cannot have crashed in its past time and then have a rebuilt title. Rebuilt means the car crashed and they rebuilt it. If it has a rebuilt on the title, Turo will deny it on the platform. Another thing is it has to have under 120,000 miles. The car is 121,000 miles, Turo is not going to allow it on the platform. Now, you're probably asking right away, what happens if you go over 120,000 miles while that car is listed? The car is okay. It will stay on the platform. It's grandfathered in. But just make sure you stay under that 120,000 mile limit. And as well with that, it has to be 12 years old or newer. If it's older than 12 years, if it's 13 years old from the date you're watching this video, they're not going to allow it on the platform. Again, Turo wants somewhat new cars. Now, if you're in a weird situation where you have a classic car, they do allow classic cars in the platform, but it's a special process to get them up, but it does work. Most likely you won't be in that boat. Another thing you should know, I mentioned it briefly earlier, is Turo promotes newer vehicles and nicer vehicles when people are looking on their website. They're going to promote that 2020 Corolla over that 2016, Nissan Altima with 160,000 miles on it because they want to give guests an attractive option for cars. Now, the only time that you're going to get that older car is when they use the search filters and they search it and they filter it by price. They want the cheapest car possible. But if a guest just search your area, say you're Rochester, New York, Turo is going to give them good, nice looking cars because they didn't filter it down. They want them to see like, oh wow, we have nice cars on this platform. So know that when you're looking for a car, you want something that appeals. Get a good looking car, and you can do that. Now, the last thing you should know is a cheap car attracts cheap guests. And this is why I want you guys to go to the used car route instead of the cash car route, because a cash car is a cheap car and a cheap car attracts a cheap guest. And what does a cheap guest do? They smoke in it, they lie, they scratch, they dent, they ding, and they're usually an unattractive level of guest. They're not good, they're not going to treat you well, and it's just going to be annoying cleaning the car every time and trying to get fees approved. Now, if you have a nicer car, then you're going to still attract some bad guests, but not as much. A lot of the time, a bad guest isn't going to pay a nice car price. Here are some big hints that I learned from doing Turo that really no one talks about, and this is the last section. If you get a car that holds a lot of people, that's good. They're very attractive, minivans on Turo. But here's something no one told you about that. The more people you fit in the car, the more opportunities those people have to ruin your car. If you have 2 people in your car, that's 2 opportunities for them to ruin your car. If you have 6 people in your car, the chances that that car gets a dent, a ding, a scratch, stain is way higher. People traveling with families are usually going to have kids, and kids are messy. With that being said, if you get a car that holds a lot of people, you're at a higher risk of more damage inside of the car, things happening, stains, messes, and such. Now, if you get a car like a Mustang or a Camaro or something that really only holds 2 people, then guess what? You're gonna get way less bookings because you're usually looking for someone who's just traveling solo, and the average people that are traveling are coming with a family. Now, a lot of the times people like doing Turo because they can get a car for themselves that they personally like. And a lot of the times people like Mustangs. Like, look at this Mustang in front of me. A lot of people would want to put that Mach 1 on Turo because they think it's going to make a lot of money. It's a faster car. They can rent it out for more. But here's the thing with that. A sports car attracts a sports type driving, and a sports type driving are known for more accidents. People who have that car are going to drive it hard because that's how it's meant to be driven, hard. So you're going to have more tire wear, and you're going to be at higher risk of accidents. And when you GPS track it on your app, which we show you how to install a GPS tracker in the course, but you need one of those, you're going to see them going 120. And you don't got to believe me right now, but it happens. These people drive these cars crazy. It's not their property. They're just renting it. They don't care about how you, the host, feels at the end of the day because they think you never find out, but it sucks. So don't get a sports car. Don't get a Camaro. Don't get a Mustang. Don't get a Dodge. They attract a certain type of people 100% of the time. No grandma is going to rent your Mustang and treat it super nice. You're going to get a young kid who rents that Mustang and drives it how it's supposed to be driven. So don't be mad if you get that car and bad things end up happening. If you want to go the German route, get an Audi, get a BMW, get a Mercedes. Guess what? Luxury cars attract person who's never had a luxury car. People who think they want to flex in it and they still don't treat it well. They're usually lower level guests because they could have never afford that car, and they're going to get in it, and a lower level guest ruins your cars. So that's why I advise you to stay away from those cars. Mercedes, BMW, they're usually just going to cause you a bunch of drama. So don't go near those cars. They're expensive. They break down. They're very technologically advanced for their time, meaning there's a lot of components that like to break. Your simple cars like your Chevys, your Toyotas, your Fords, your Hondas, they're going to be way more reliable at the end of the day. And the last big hint, I mentioned it in the beginning of the video, a new car equals high depreciation. So don't get a new car. Now, once you get this car, if you want to avoid smokers and bad renters, which you're going to find is the most common problem when you're renting on Turo, there's a trick in your Turo settings, and there's a trick with being generous. I don't have time to explain what I mean here, but again, it's all free in the link below. Click the Skool community, sign up, no spam will be sent, and it's all in the course, and you can learn from there and ask me questions. But there is a trick that works 80% of the time to get good renters who don't smoke, only airport renters who pay you extra to drop it off at the airport. Join the Skool, hop on the Zooms, and I'll help you get started the right way. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was very straightforward, to the point. Remember, you can do this as long as you push yourself.